Hey yo, hey yo. All righty. Well, I'm doing this one on Halloween, and I've got a joke for you. When do zombies finish trick or treating? When they are dead tired. I dead tired. I'm ready. In case anybody comes to my door tonight, I got my bowl of candy. I'm ready to roll. All righty. So the piece of paper you're going to need today is this one. It says analyzing chemical reactions. This is definitely going to be one of the heavier topics for sure. I'm encouraging you to practice in the Kahoots and really talk and ask questions in class to really help you understand this. So here we go. Let's go and start. All right. Let's start with the word process. Remember to pause as you go through this to make life easier. A series of actions or steps taken to achieve a particular end or goal. Some examples are brushing your teeth, even cooking pasta, and even a seed germinating. Yes, that's what we call it, germinating, to come into a plant. So as you're going through this, you're kind of thinking about the steps that are involved in this process. For example, there's even a process here for me to eat this candy because I can't just put the whole thing in my mouth with the wrapper because it wouldn't taste very good. So first I have to find the opening of it. I think this wrapper is smarter than me. Pull it open, get rid of the wrapper, pull my mouth. Oh, it's amazing. And chew. Now I have to chew. That's part of the process as well. If I just jam it in there and swallow, it's going to get caught in my throat. All right. So even with toothbrushing, there's a process. There are steps involved. Everybody goes about it in a different way. Maybe use your left hand, maybe use your right hand. Maybe you like to do it sitting down or standing up, but the process is the same. Toothpaste goes on the toothbrush goes in the mouth all the way around for a period of time, and we go from there. So, are there any other examples that you can think of? And remember, we're writing on this activity here. If there's some examples, other examples you can think of, maybe getting ready for work, getting ready for school, preparing to play soccer even. You have to put on special equipment, drive in a certain way to get to the field or walk there, and even how you prepare to practice to even play the game. All right. Another substance we talk about, another vocabulary, is substance. And you've heard this many times before. A substance is matter with the composition that is the same throughout. For example, when I look at Snickers, woohoo! When I look at this Snickers here, I know that it is not a substance because I got all different kinds of stuff. And I got caramel, I got nougat, I got peanuts, I got chocolate. And so this is a mixture. Now, if it was a substance like water, salt, or even carbon, it would have the same chemical formula no matter whether you take the middle, the top, the left, the right, up, the down. It's all the way the same throughout. All right. So here's some brand new words for you. Let's dial in. Reactants and products. Once again, we're talking about we're talking about chemical changes and how they occur. And a reactant is when you have two or more substances that combine and interact. And yes, that word react is in there. Make sure to pause while you're writing if necessary. And a product is the new substance that's produced as the atoms arrange and form new bonds. This is the most popular example you'll ever see in science. It's when you have baking soda and you have vinegar. So, for example, I've got some vinegar here and I've got my baking soda here. These are both reactants. There's two or more substances, and you can have three or four or five. I just have two here. And the product is if something new occurs. So as I put this in there, you can hear it and see it. This is a new product. I had a solid and a liquid, and boy, that smells. And now I have a gas. A chemical reaction is definitely occurring. It's a process by which two or more chemical substances interact and are chemically changed, producing a different chemical substances. You'll go ahead and pause while you're writing this down. Okay. So once again, what happened was I took two reactants. I took um, vinegar, I took baking soda, and I can see that there is a chemical reaction. If there wasn't a chemical reaction, I would have no fizzing, I would have no gas that's created. They would just be together and nothing would happen. So in this video question that's on your paper, the first thing I'd like you to do, we've got baking soda, we've got vinegar, and it produces carbon dioxide gas. What I would like you to do is I'd like you to add on this paper which are the reactants and which is the product. So you'll write in a full sentence, the reactants are, the product is, and then you'll move on. Make sure to pause the video while you're walking through. All right. And so how do you know, like we talked about, if there's a chemical reaction? Well, this, for example, right here, these are two different types of liquid. No, they're not water, but when you combine them, they are going to make this solid, which is really pretty interesting. We scientists confirm, and that can include you, we can call you scientists today, that a chemical reaction has occurred only by determining if a new substance with new properties are formed. We have our reactants over here on the left, and the new substance that is created or formed is this yellow solid. There are 5 signs of a chemical reaction, and we'll go through these. First one, a gas. If a gas is formed that wasn't there before, then you've got a chemical reaction. If light has occurred, if you're lighting a match, as we've done in class multiple times, that is a chemical reaction. If there's a change in temperature, either hot or cold, that is a chemical reaction. You can see this instant cold pack that tells you to break it. And by breaking it, you're snapping or opening the two separate sections. They come together and it creates either cold or heat. If there is a color change different than the reactants themselves, and what that means is if you have a purple liquid or a blue liquid and you mix in something that's clear and you get a light blue, that's not a reactant. But if you put in something that's clear and something that's red and you get green, if you get something different than really what you've expected, that's going to be a chemical reaction. And we can watch this little, there we go. We can go to this. And all right. And the last one. This is a real fancy one, and this is definitely for our Aspire to students. Formation of a precipitate. And that is that a solid substance forms and separates from a solution and often settles on the bottom. These signs can be helpful, but the only way to be certain that a chemical reaction has occurred is to identify that a new substance was produced in the reaction. So whether it changes color, whether you get a gas, whether you get a solid out of it, whether you get a black burned substance, once you put those two together, we have to make sure we find a brand new substance. All right. And our video question number 2 is, how do you know that a chemical reaction has occurred when I do this again? Earlier, I asked you which were the reactants and which were the products. But now, how do you know a chemical reaction has occurred? There's no way I'm drinking this. No, it's not going to happen. All right, guys, have a great day.